anyone had told me I would one day betray the woman who saved my mother's life, I would have sworn it was impossible. Aunt Lydia wasn't just my mom's best friend. She was her sister in every way that mattered. When my mother had a stroke, everyone disappeared. Even the so-called family members who used to come around for free food. They all vanished. But Aunt Lydia stayed. She was the one who slept in the hospital with my mom. She was the one who fed her, cleaned her, paid her bills. And when the doctor said my mom might not work again, she didn't give up. She was there every single day, caring for her like blood. So when my mother finally recovered, she couldn't stop talking about her. She used to say, Lydia is the kind of friend people pray for. If you ever meet someone like her, protect that friendship with your life. A few months later, Aunt Lydia offered to let me come and stay with her in the city, help around the house, go to school, and save my mom some stress. It was such a blessing. My mom cried tears of gratitude. She kept saying, don't ever forget the hand that fed you. And I meant it when I said I wouldn't. When I arrived, Aunt Lydia welcomed me with open arms. Her home was beautiful. Her husband, let's call him Uncle Kweku, was kind and calm. They treated me like family. I helped out where I could, cleaning, cooking, running errands, and I went to school like planned. Everything felt perfect, so perfect that I didn't even notice the shadows waiting behind all that kindness. From the first day I met her husband, I respected him deeply. He was polite, soft-spoken, the type of man who never raised his voice. He was always smiling. I used to think, wow, Aunt Lydia is so lucky. Those first few weeks were perfect. I went to school, helped her cook, cleaned up, and she always praised me. You are such a good girl, she would say. Sometimes I would overhear her talking on the phone about me, proudly telling her friends, this girl is like a blessing. She has made my life easier. I really loved her. I wanted to make her proud. And honestly, I saw her husband as an uncle, nothing more. But one evening after dinner, he offered to drop me at my evening lectures. I refused politely. He laughed and said, don't be silly. You are like my daughter. Let's go. So I agreed. That first ride felt normal. We just talked about school and life. When I told him I wanted to be a nurse someday, he smiled and said, you are smart. You will go far. It was such a simple thing to say. But for some reason, I kept thinking about it all night. After that day, things started to change, just slightly. Little gestures, longer eye contact. It wasn't enough to make me uncomfortable, but it was enough to notice. I didn't say anything though, because in my mind, it was harmless. And besides, how could a kind man like that ever have bad intentions? But the truth is, night started to feel different. It began with small things. When I would dress up for school, he would smile and say, you look very beautiful today. Or when I served him food, he would laugh softly and say, your husband will be lucky to have you. At first, I would just smile politely and walk away. But as days went by, his words started to sound warmer. They lingered in my mind longer than they should have. He started noticing little details about me. You changed your hairstyle. That color suits you. Oh, you have a beautiful smile. I would laugh awkwardly, pretending not to think too much of it. But deep down, I felt something. Not love, oh, just attention. And it felt good. See, I had never really had a man look at me that way before. I grew up watching my mom struggle alone. No father, no man to call ours. So for the first time, someone was seeing me, not as a burden, not as a helper, not as a child, but as a woman. And even though a part of me knew it wasn't right, another part whispered, there's no harm in a few compliments. Aunt Lydia never suspected anything. She trusted both of us completely. And honestly, at that time, there was nothing to suspect. He hadn't crossed any lines yet. After those compliments started, he started showing his affection in new ways. Small things at first. A little cash for transportation. I would always say no at first. Oh no, Uncle K. Please, I can't take it. But he would insist. Don't argue with me. You are like a daughter to me. Just take it. And when I would finally collect it, he would smile. At first, I told myself it was harmless. It wasn't like I was sleeping with him or anything. He was just helping me. The same way he helped my mom when she was sick, right? But deep down, I knew it wasn't the same. There's a way a man looks at you when he's just being kind. And there is a way he looks when he's undressing you with his eyes. And I could tell the difference. Still, I didn't stop him. Maybe I liked the attention. Maybe I liked the feeling of being chosen, noticed, in a world that had ignored me all my life. Soon, the gifts became more frequent. Money for hair, money for shoes, money for school. Every time I tried to feel guilty, I would silence the voice in my head with excuses. He's just kind. He has not touched me. He respects me. I am not doing anything wrong. One night, I overheard Auntie talking to him in the living room. She was laughing, saying how grateful she was to have me around, how peaceful her home felt, how I reminded her of her youth. I remember sitting in my room, clutching the new phone he had just given me, and my heart started racing. I didn't feel proud. I felt dirty. But the next morning, when I woke up and saw the phone on my table, the guilt disappeared again, just like that. I still remember the night it happened. Auntie had traveled for a short conference. That evening felt ordinary at first. I cooked, cleaned up, and went to my room to study. Then he knocked on my door. At first, I thought maybe something was wrong in the house. He stood there with that calm, fatherly smile. You have been studying too hard, he said. Come and eat with me. I hesitated, but he insisted. I followed him to the dining room. There was soft music playing, food already served, and 2 glasses on the table. He said he didn't like eating alone. It sounded harmless enough. We ate quietly. He asked about school, my dreams, my mother. Then he said, you know, you remind me so much of my wife when she was young, ambitious, gentle, and beautiful. I laughed awkwardly, trying to change the topic. That was the first time the silence between us started to feel heavy. After dinner, I tried to leave, but he reached out and held my hand. Welcome back to my channel, babe. And how are you doing today? I hope you are doing amazing. If you are new here, I'm Vera, but you can call me V. And I share real life stories that will shock you, break your heart, inspire you, and sometimes make you laugh. So if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. Come and join the family. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Pretty Abina29, Eva For Real, and Lucy Sapon. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babe. She know I love you. And without any further delay, let's continue the story. He started saying things about how he admired me, how he just wanted to take care of me properly, how he couldn't stop thinking about me lately. Every word blurred the line I had been pretending didn't exist. I told him, Uncle, please don't talk like that. But my voice was barely a whisper. Part of me wanted to run, but another part froze. The same part that remembered the money, the phone, the comforts. He said he didn't want to hurt anyone. He just wanted me to trust him, to let him show me how special I was. And that was how I felt. He started taking off my clothes. He started kissing me. And I followed him to his room. And there we slept together. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Afterwards, I sat on my bed, shaking. I told myself it was just one mistake, that I will forget it and move on. After that night, nothing looked different, but everything was. When Auntie came back from her trip, she hugged me like always, but I couldn't look her in the eye for more than a second. Every word that came out of my mouth felt borrowed. For a few days, he acted normal. He barely spoke to me in front of her, barely even looked my way. And I thought maybe that meant it was over. Maybe he regretted it too. But soon, the messages started again. Late night texts. Are you awake? Quick glances when Auntie wasn't watching. A soft touch when he passed by. We slept together again and again. And every time, I would tell myself this will be the last time. But the last time kept coming back. He began spoiling me more than ever, giving me money left and right. I started dressing differently, walking differently. Auntie noticed. She asked one morning, "You are glowing lately. Did someone make you happy?" I laughed too quickly and said, "No, I just started taking care of myself more." That lie burned my throat. I hated lying to her, but I hated the thought of losing what I had even more. I told myself I was just accepting help, that I deserved the nice things too. I had been poor all my life. Was it so wrong to finally have comfort? Sometimes I would hear them laughing together in the living room, husband and wife. I would sit in my room trying to read, but my heart would pound so loud that the words blurred on the page, because I knew one day this secret would come out. I just didn't know when. And yet, every time I thought about stopping, it would call me my little blessing, give me money, and the guilt would melt away again. I became an actress in my own life. The obedient daughter at breakfast, the guilty lover at night. I didn't expect my mother to visit that weekend. She just called one afternoon and said, "I am in town. I will pass by tomorrow." I panicked a little. It had been months since I had seen her, and I knew mothers could smell lies better than smoke. When she arrived, Aunt Lydia was in the kitchen cooking. Mom hugged Auntie tightly, laughing, thanking her again for everything. I stood there, pretending everything was fine, pretending my stomach wasn't twisting itself into knots. Later that evening, Mom pulled me aside. She smiled at first, just looking at me. Then she said quietly, "You've changed." I laughed. "Changed how?" She studied me for a long moment. "I can't explain it. You look different. Are you happy here?" "Of course," I said quickly. "Auntie treats me like her own daughter. Everything is fine." But her eyes didn't leave mine. "And her husband?" she asked softly. My heart almost stopped. "What about him?" She shrugged, still calm. "Nothing. I just noticed how careful you are around him, and how careful he is around you. I'm your mother. I see things." I forced a laugh. "Mom, please, you are overthinking." She nodded slowly, still watching me. Then she said something I will never forget. "Listen, men can be kind, but sometimes kindness hides hunger. Don't mistake help for love, and don't pay back gratitude with shame. Lydia saved my life. Don't destroy hers." I felt tears sting my eyes, but I couldn't let her see me cry. I said, "Mom, please stop. Nothing is happening." She sighed, reached out, and held my hand. "Even if nothing is happening, be careful it never does. I trust you, but I don't trust the world." For a moment, I almost told her everything. The words sat on my tongue, trembling. But then, I imagined her face if she found out. I imagined Auntie's heartbreak, the disgust, the shame. So, I swallowed the truth. When she left the next morning, I hugged her tightly and whispered, "I'm fine, Mom. Don't worry." She smiled and said, "I will keep praying for you." After she left, I stood at the gate, watching her walk away. Part of me wanted to run after her and confess, But the other part, the proud, foolish part said, you can handle this. You've come this far to ruin everything now. That was the last warning I ever got, and I ignored it. One Friday night, Auntie had traveled for a short work trip, just 2 days. She hugged me before she left, told me to lock the doors. That evening, Uncle Kweku called me into the living room. He said he had ordered dinner, that I shouldn't bother cooking. We sat quietly while the TV played some movie in the background. It should have been a normal night, but my heart wouldn't stop racing. After dinner, he looked at me and said, you have been distant lately. Did I do something? I shook my head, but I could feel tears building. He stood up, came closer, and said softly, don't cry. You know I care about you. And just like that, the same old weakness swallowed me again. He came to me and started kissing me. Then he started taking off my clothes. We were both naked when the door opened. I heard a sound before I saw her. The suitcase hitting the floor. Her voice, sharp and shaking. What is going on here? Time stopped. We froze like statues. She took one look at us, at the room, the clothes on the floor, the betrayal written all over our faces, and she screamed. She lunged at me first, slapped me so hard, my vision blurred. Then she turned to him, shouting, crying, asking, why? Kweku, why would you do this to me? To us? He tried to speak, but she wouldn't let him. She slapped him too. She threw everything she could find of mine, pillows, clothes, a picture frame. I rushed to put on my clothes, and when she turned back to me, her face was pure hatred. Get out of my house, right now. I tried to beg. Auntie, please, I am sorry. But she screamed louder. Don't you dare call me auntie. You Satan, you snake, you evil child. Neighbors came out to see what was happening. Uncle Kweku just stood there silent while she dragged me toward the door, her hands shaking, tears streaming down her face. She pushed me outside, barefoot, still in shock, and slammed the door behind me. The world went silent. The neighbors were watching me. Only my breathing and the pounding in my chest remained. That night, I walked for hours with nowhere to go. I wandered aimlessly until I reached the junction. Then I sat on the cab, crying so hard I could barely breathe. My phone kept vibrating. It was him. But what could he say? Sorry. Sorry couldn't erase what had just happened. Sorry couldn't fix the image of that woman's face. The woman who saved my mother's life, looking at me like I was filth. Eventually, he sent a message. Go to your mother's house. I will handle things here. Handle what exactly? I stayed on that roadside until morning, then took a trotro to my mother's area. I remember standing outside our small gate for a long time before knocking. When she opened the door and saw me, she didn't need an explanation. She had already heard. In fact, half the town had heard. My mom didn't hug me. She didn't even let me in. She just stood there, shaking her head, whispering, why? Why? I tried to explain. I tried to tell her that I was sorry, that it wasn't my fault, that I didn't mean for any of this to happen. But the more I spoke, the angrier she got. Her voice broke when she said, that woman took care of me when I couldn't walk. She fed you, she fed me, she clothed you. And is this how you repay her? I dropped to my knees, holding her legs, begging for forgiveness. She pushed me away and shouted, you have brought shame to my name. Go away. Leave my house. I don't want you here. Her words cut deeper than any slap ever could. I slept outside that night by her gate. She locked the door, and I could hear her crying inside. By morning, she had already told the landlord not to let me stay there. She said, let her go. Maybe when the world finishes with her, she will learn. and the world did finish with me. Auntie blocked me on everything. I tried to reach out to her and apologize several times. Immediately she hears my voice, she cuts the call and blocks the number. I tried calling Uncle Kweku too, but he didn't answer. I didn't know where else to go. So I found a friend from school and begged her to let me stay for a few days. She agreed reluctantly. It is strange how quickly life can change. One week, you are in a warm house, wearing new clothes, feeling beautiful. The next week, you are begging for space on someone's floor. I wanted to disappear. I didn't know the worst was yet to come. The first sign was the nausea. At first, I thought it was stress. I hadn't been sleeping. I hadn't eaten properly in days. But when it kept happening every morning, every smell making me sick, I knew. Deep down, I already knew. I bought a pregnancy test. I remember standing in the bathroom, holding my breath as I waited for the results. 2 red lines. My knees almost gave out. I sat on the floor for a long time, staring at that little stick, hoping the lines would fade if I blinked enough times. They didn't. My first thought wasn't about the baby. It was him. Would he help? Would he deny it? Would he even pick my call? That night, I sent him a message. I need to talk to you. It is important. He didn't reply. I tried again the next morning, then again that evening, nothing. Finally, after 3 days, he called. After I told him, his voice was cold, rushed. He said, "Don't panic. Just take care of it. I will send you some money." I froze. "Take care of it," I whispered. He said, "You know what I mean. Don't make things worse for both of us." Then he hung up. 5 minutes later, I got a mobile money alert, exactly enough for an abortion and nothing else. By the time I tried to call him back, he had blocked my number. I stared at the phone for hours, waiting for it to ring again. It didn't. I cried until my chest hurt. I thought about taking the money. I thought about ending it, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I kept the money but didn't use it. I kept hoping he would change his mind. Maybe he was just angry. Maybe he would call back. So I kept my phone charged and close. Even when I went to the bathroom, nothing. One night, I finally sent a message from a friend's phone. "I am still pregnant." He replied almost instantly this time. 3 words. "Handle it quietly." Then blocked that number too. That was the moment something inside me cracked. I looked around the tiny room I was sharing with my friend. Everywhere I turned, there were closed doors. I have been sleeping on my friend's floor for weeks now. She barely talks to me anymore. I can tell she's tired of me, tired of my crying, tired of the pity. My mom doesn't want me. She's not even picking my calls anymore. Mind you, I am her only child. Aunt Lydia has cut her off because of me. The man who said he cared about me now acts like I never existed. When I found out that Uncle Kweku and Aunt Lydia separated, something inside me lit up again. Maybe this was my chance to make things right, or at least make things easier. He wanted me to end the pregnancy, but I can't, I won't. This baby might be the only key left to a door that isn't completely closed. I am really sorry for everything. Sorry for what I did. Sorry for ruining my mother's friendship. Sorry for hurting everyone who tried to help me. But sorry doesn't pay rent. Sorry doesn't feed a child. So yes, I have been thinking again. If he could look at me once with love, find me attractive, maybe he can do it again. If he can buy shoes and phones and dresses, maybe he can buy a roof over my head. Maybe he will see me carrying a child and remember that we were something, whatever that something was. I am tired of begging, of borrowing, of waiting for people to forgive me. I need a plan, and maybe this child is the plan. I know I hurt Auntie Lydia, but what is done is done. Who knows, maybe I can continue building a life with Uncle Kweku. I have no one now. I miss my mom so much. Right now, I am lost. I have no money, and I have a feeling my friend will sack me from her house soon. I need my mom. How do I get her to forgive me? And I also need advice on what to do regarding Uncle Kweku and the baby. Should I keep the baby so he keeps sponsoring me? Since he's no longer with his wife, how can I convince him to stay with me and the child? I really need advice. I really feel I can build a life with him and our child. You know what? It's been a while since I left a story for you. So I'm going to leave this one for you. She needs advice. So advise her down below. Should she keep the baby so he keeps sponsoring her? How can she convince him to stay with her and the baby? Leave your thoughts down below. Leave your opinions down below. And now, Abi, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And babe, if you've not subscribed yet, come and join the family. Please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Okay, I am done. Bye.